Welcome to the Clear Admit MBA Admissions Academy. I'm Graham Richmond, and I'm joined by Alex Brown. And this lesson is about something we call personal inventory. So Alex, do you want to just describe what is a personal inventory in the first place here?
Yeah, the process basically is you're planning to apply to 5 or 6 programs. You don't want to just jump into the essays or the recommendation process and data forms and so forth. You want to take a step back and you want to basically do a complete brain dump of everything that you've done, your personal experiences, your professional experiences, your successes, your failures, your life stories. You just want to get it all out there. And you know, conceivably over a period of time, think about this. So you carry a notepad with you, a pencil and paper, just adding to it. So it becomes what, you know, in computer lingo might be the source material that you would then use to start building your applications and so forth.
Right. So it's really the stuff that you will draw upon when it comes time to write essays or talk to your recommenders or put together your resume, all that stuff. So yeah. I think it's a bit challenging in terms of this brain dump. And so what I would argue is that if someone has a notepad or is taking digital notes, however, you know, they want to keep track of this, they should be thinking about their life to date and looking at maybe times when they had a leadership experience or worked in a team or, as you said, failure, success, hardships and obstacles. I think a lot of schools are pretty interested in, you know, people who've kind of bootstrapped or overcome something. And I guess we could also say maybe instances of service where you've served in your community or somehow helped others, and anything that maybe has planted seeds for your career goals. So it could be, I don't know, an internship that you had or something that helped you find the path that you're arguing that you're on in terms of, you know, getting into business school and heading off into a career. So, and the last thing I would say is maybe international experience as well. Some schools in particular put a real emphasis on that. But what about, what does this look like? I mean, is it a chart? Is it it's a notepad with a list of things? I mean, how am I organizing this?
Yeah, I mean, I would do it differently to you, Graham.
Yeah.
Clearly, because I just love written notes and, you know, I'm quite disorganized, but I would collect it all in a big notepad.
Yeah.
I might have a page that just focuses on, like you say, leadership, another page that all my teamwork experiences, another page that all my sort of that might be 2 pages, all my failures and what I've learned from the failures and so forth. That's key, right? When you talk about failures, the process then becomes, well, what did you learn from that, and what was the subsequent experience that illustrates that learning? And we'll get to more detail of that when we talk about the essays more directly. But the idea is get all this stuff out first, rather than looking at the essays first and thinking, all right, I've got to figure out an experience that fits this particular essay. Figure out all the experiences first. The reason why you do that is it will ensure when you go to each of the individual applications that you don't miss the best opportunities to showcase and answer those questions. So I would really try to not look at the essay question topics that sort of might direct you down a rabbit hole or something first. I would do the brain dump, the personal inventory first, and then start, all right, well, what is Stanford asking and what is Wharton asking, or whatever programs you're looking at?
Right. It's almost like, I mean, I guess you could argue it's almost like a greatest hits album,
Yep.
you know, where you're going to go through and mine your past,
Yep.
find all the interesting things that have happened to you,
Yep.
good, bad,
Yep.
you know, great, etc., and get them ready so that when it comes time to
Yep.
produce materials for the essays or
Yep.
any part of the application, you've got it. Now, I know you're a particular fan of Stanford's main essay,
Yes.
which is what matters most to you and why. And you
Yep.
argue that using that essay question as a kind of springboard for thinking about personal inventory can be an okay thing to do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I love that essay, and I think it really forces a deep level of introspection and sort of forces you to tie your stories together. And I think is a great way to sort of help you guide your personal inventory development.
Yeah, agreed. And a conversation that I had with the dean of admissions at Stanford some time ago, they were saying, you know, before you write what matters most to you and why, think about your life, think about
Yeah.
key events, failures, leadership. I mean, all the things we've just discussed, right? So it is a great way, even if you're not applying to Stanford, it might be a nice one to think about as you go through. So in any event, I would say that this is a vital step because you don't want to be, as you say, caught without the right materials as you go to produce everything. You want to make sure that you've really thought through everything in your past. And so there are all these ways to do it. And I think you're right. It's not an overnight process, right? This is something that may take several weeks or even months as you're kind of jotting down notes or thinking it through.
And frankly, outside of the MBA admissions process, this sort of activity is great for personal development.
Agreed. Yeah. And there are a lot of people who would argue, taking a personal inventory can be useful, as you're making a career change or anything like that. So absolutely, this is a great kind of first step as you embark on the process. So I would say even before you define what your career plan is, because obviously a lot of schools ask for that, this is just a really good kind of first step to just get everything down. So I will say the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to get into career goals, and because I know a lot of people think about that. So the next lesson up next is going to be all about career goals.